Hey everyone, we're back once again with another game. This is going to be a 60 Grassy Hills match, and this will feature Deee and ay859. It is quite an insane game. Had to get this up for you guys as quick as possible. Super competitive, so we're going to get right into it. Okay, let's zoom in here a little bit. Okay, off the rip, we see Deee maybe going for a shock shield. Okay, no. It is instructive too that he's going to block AY here from moving anywhere. Say he went to, another side of the map and like summon a minion, then AY can freely move around, kill it. But if he's summoning here, it's kind of difficult to get an angle on any sort of spell to kill the spirit. So he's going to end up being up a minion. Maybe not a tempo because the shock shield comes out, but at least he does keep the minion. So that was his line of thinking there. Well, I mean, not sure he actually thought, that far ahead like I did, but, Oh, Tangle. Okay, so maybe he did. He's going to trap him in that one spot and then follow it up with a Tangle. So he may be smarter than I am. Okay, I'm looking at a flash angle here for AY. Oh, he says, no, I see your flash. I'm going to raise you a shock bomb, get some extra damage, all the way down to 140. So despite this tangle, which you might think, okay, he's tangled, and that's gonna allow Deee to get back into the game, because he can't really move. A, that is. And he tries to get the BFTP off, but doesn't BFTP straight up and down. Swarms just to tick himself to detangle. And yeah, protection shield there. I mean, I'd probably flash out if I was AY, but he knows he's not in huge danger. He can tower out the following turn, and he does so. So here, yeah, Deee got a Pegasus out. Seems like he's doing all right, stabilizing, but he is down quite a bit of health. Doesn't appear to have Storm Shield either, so he's going to have to win the game by some other means. Storm Shield is a pretty strong win condition in those generic books, but we'll see what Deee has cooking for us today. And all right, we're going to get a Pegasus summon. So looking at this summon, A can BFTP out of the tree the following turn and then escape. And as long as his shock shield is up, he can gain a tempo on one of Dee's minions, kill it. Although if the swarm's active, he can't kill the swarm because the aura will stun him, but he could at least get the spirit down. So that's what he's angling for, to try to gain a little bit of map control back. And we'll see if he's able to do it. Here, if I'm Deee, I'd probably maybe, I don't know if he has Ice Shield. Ice Shield would be a good option here. Okay, he doesn't. He's just going to try to trap the peg. And okay, Aura. All right, that's a fine play. Threatening to undead his peg, but he actually gives AY a tempo. So that's very important to keep in mind, is tracking your Pegasus health and also your opponent's swarm cooldown. Because if you end up with one of your Pegasus or their Pegasus at 15, their swarm's up, they get a free tempo with the undead Pegasus, and you're, down a lot at this point. So Deee pretty much has to kill this, and he has to leave the swarm alive. He can't kill both. If he had something like Shot Bomb, he could kill everything, but he doesn't in this book. So here, AY can actually just shock Deee and then knock him off the map. And so we'll see if he chooses to do that. He could sack his Pegasus and go for a shock bomb. Okay, that's ambitious, but I like it. Deee is completely lethal, 55 health. And he's only got one hiding spot, I think. Okay, he does have maybe a couple others, but those are shock bombable. This one is not. So he's only got one spot on the map where he can survive. And of course, A has Pebbles. Oh no. So 18 to 205. Deee is in dire straits. We'll see if Deezus can work his magic. Look at this Arcane Bomb, 205 plus 5 prot. This will knock him all the way to the edge of the map while flighted, and then he falls into the water. All of a sudden, Deee may be able to begin one of the most epic comebacks that I have ever seen in a 60 Grassy game. We shall see if he's going to be able to clutch this out. If you think about A's book, he's got Shock Shield, Pebble, probably Dark Knight, Pegasus. It's just generic. He doesn't have any aerials. So Deee is pretty safe. Okay, A is going to go for a Storm Shield. That's fair, because any sort of trapping he can counteract with the shield activating. So for example, if Deee were to swarm trap him there, then the Shock Shield would kill it, and then Deee would just die. So Deee has to go for some sort of trapping, like a tree. Yep, tree is great here. And then he can follow that up by possibly just prodding up. I'm trying to think what else would be good here. Blocking that side with a Pegasus is good. Then he can kill the swarm the following turn as well. Unless he has some sort of... Okay, so he goes further down to the peg and just absorbs the swarm aura. That's a nice play by Deee there. So here he's just going to keep A trapped and gate out, keep the swarm alive. I like that play too. He knows now that he's got no aerial. Once he kind of revealed Pebble in addition to Shock Shield, it's pretty much a foregone conclusion. He's got generic, so you don't need to worry about aerials at all. And now all of a sudden it's looking like Deee has not regained a bunch of tempo, but just kind of regained map control for sure. Just because of that arcane bomb tech that he unearthed to begin this comeback. So yeah, he's gonna go for the aura and actually be able to get an undead peg, if I'm not mistaken. Can't quite tell with the skin. Yes, it is undead. So AY is going to actually teleport to the top of the map. This is quite a risky play, and he actually gets ticked down into this hole here. Not the greatest. I don't think Deee has Dark Knight, but he can simply continue to just rotate his spells that help him stall, which is Forest Seed, Pegasus. He's got 2 swarms, so what you can do is you can use these swarms not to tick him for damage, but he could actually put a swarm like here to just zone. This is a concept that is common in the especially high times. To zone your opponent means you control where they're going to be able to go. So if you put an aura here, he can't move out. He can't go anywhere. He's not free to roam. You're really controlling the map well. And with 2 swarms, Deee can zone with one, tick with another. Deee can zone with both. I mean, he's got endless options. So it's Christmas here. He has, despite being at 18 health, he's got a lot of momentum with those 2 swarms. So long as he can keep him trapped. At the moment that he fails in his map control, AY can just shock bomb Sui for a win. So here, I'm not sure about this one from AY. At this point, I think, unfortunately for him, the blunder was just allowing the arc bomb sink, but you don't necessarily expect arc bomb. So at this point, I think he probably just had to be a bit more patient, and that teleporting up top was also a bit of a blunder as well. And then compounding that, he summoned this Pegasus. You're just giving him a double drain. And, once he gets above 30 health, he gets full health back from the drain. So if you're under 30, you don't heal 30 for each minion that you drain. You basically heal, like, what is it, half of the value. I think, like, if you're 6 health, you heal to 12. So you double your health. Rather than heal a flat 30. That's how it works. So with this double, Deee will be able to get back up above 30 health and gain some much needed healing. And we'll see he hasn't quite revealed You know, I was watching this game live and I was wondering, like, what is his win con? Like, what is Deee doing? All he's summoned so far is Swarm, Pegasus, you know, Arcane Bomb. So how is this guy winning? But we'll see. Here, that BFTP, a little bit of a Q. Not a Q, but just like a kind of wasted move. Yeah, I would have probably have shock shielded the turn before, but again, a lot of what I could suggest, pretty much a moot point. You need to instead highlight the moment where the biggest mistake was made, and then that's, you know, like no matter what he does, he's already in such a losing position here, up the 2 swarms, that there's not much that he can do to regain momentum. I mean, he could teleport back to the bottom, but Deee got this undead peg, so there's no way to go down to this left side. So he would have to go to the right side, but guess what? The right side over here is open. So he's taken out his one spot of refuge, and which is why I'm not really suggesting, honestly, many moves for A here. He has to just, you know, survive. We're at turn 23, you know. That's a bit of a rushed teleport, like I said up top. You know, you think, okay, I got him to 18. Okay, unfortunately, that Arcane Bomb sunk. Maybe that just, you know, ruined my chances. I'll just try to play for a draw, or, you know, build up a little bit of minion advantage, maybe flash out this tree and start to push with my own swarms. So he kind of needed to look at Dee's minions and go, okay, you know, I'm up a lot of health, but he got this gate tempo on me, and he's also got 2 swarms out. I don't have many minions out. And you can see for every undead that he gets, A loses a minion slot. So yeah, he actually doesn't have any slots that he can summon. Although that is a bit of a bug, because the minion count said 0 of 3, and then he was actually able to summon a swarm still. So I guess 0 of 3 means he has 0 minions of 3 possible slots, and the reason that he had 3 slots is because Deee stole one of his minions. Okay, I'm a bit slow, but I'm getting there. We're getting there together. So yeah, 0 means that he has no minions, not that he can't summon. 3 of 3 would mean that he can't summon. Okay, we're cooking. You know, you got to be patient with me sometimes. If y'all are enjoying this commentary so far, this epic 60G match, please drop a like and subscribe. Always appreciate the support. We're actually coming on to 600 subscribers. We're getting close. So yeah, thanks for tuning in, and yeah, hope you all will smash that sub button. Okay, A's finally free. He's gonna, yep, he's got a stall. You got a tree up, prot, get a peg out, you know, get a swarm out. And here for Deee, it's just a matter of, I guess, digging. You know, you gotta realize at this point in the game, turn 25. Okay, I've stabilized. I'm up 3 minions, massive tempo. Just chill out. You know, don't try to rush. Don't, you know, be pushing too hard. You're going to end up blundering, lose the game. So we'll see if Dee's able to listen to me for once. If he could just watch my videos, maybe he wouldn't make the same mistakes that he always makes. Hi Deee, I know you're watching. So let's see. He's going to go for a quad drain. That'd be kind of nice. Oh, he's going to keep a pixie. Okay, yeah, fair. Fair. Getting out of the aura is another option, but I don't hate staying in there, getting a double drain off, eating some of the aura damage, excuse me. And what you'll see here, like, it's crazy how, you know, you make one mistake, and just depending on like map gen and like minions, especially this power of swarms is really showcased in this match. How it was 18 to 205 with 5 prot. Remember, he was 205 with 5 prot when he arcane flashed, bombed A off the map. 18 to 205. All of a sudden, you know, he gets that sync, regains map control, and yeah, it's tough at that point. maybe he could have teleported up top A after he got sunk, but yeah, not 100% sure how that would go. It's hard to predict. There's no concrete sort of line that guarantees, okay, A is going to be able to stall after that sink, or D is going to be able to stall after the sink, or win after the sink, or lose after the sink, whatever. So, it's all kind of murky. All right, tree. Yep, fair to just flash out. Unfortunately, the way that he was treed there, even if he extends, he's not going to be able to escape. So it's kind of unfortunate, but maybe he can drain it and go from there. So yeah, Dee's just going to spam his arcane bombs here and potentially threaten a second undead peg there. So it is interesting too, he actually got his 4th minion slot back, even though the peg is still undead, and it was his. So that was interesting. I don't know exactly at what point that he got that slot back. But yeah, there have been a little bit of bugs around the minion cap and how that all works too, so can get a little bit convoluted. I won't dive into it, mainly because I don't know much about it, not because I'm gatekeeping valuable information for you all. So here he's going to trap A's Pegasus in and get another undead peg. At this point, maybe there's a potential of trying to just, whittle his prots down. He's still 121, so I don't know what the status of A's BFTPs were, but it might have been worth it to BFTP the tree. But then again, he'd have to deflight to get out of it. You can't fly out of a tree BFTP at the top there, branch, which would be, I'll just show you where I'm thinking. Oh, oops. He could BFTP there, right? But he can't fly out. He'd have to deflight. And then even if he deflights, you can only long jump out of this tree. And he would long jump right into the water and lose the game immediately. So he couldn't get the opportunity to sink, to hit D with the SS there, not sink. So he's just going to take advantage of this land that D, spawned with the tree, and just stall as much as possible. Turn 35. Oh, I'd be sweating if I was A here. Just down so many tempo. My goodness. And D gets to drain again. Look at this insane comeback. He added a 1 to the end of his health. He was at 18. Now he's 181. Yes, affectionately by me known as Jesus Christ. He is just, blessed are these hands. He is just cooking. He's cooking in this game. And the snowball, not ideal. Okay, for those of you who don't know, the smaller the target, the less damage snowball will do. You can do 100 to a peg, for example. One shot a Garg, nearly one shot a DK, although often it doesn't quite one shot. It does like 98, and then you cry and uninstall the game. But here, not the play to use on a snowball on the Pegasus, or Pixie. What am I even saying, guys? Jeez. But here he could have speared. I think I am remembering that he does have spear, so that would have been an option. Just a slight misplay. I mean, he's up like 1,000 minions and, got all this map control. But, yeah. He's just going to go for the Arcane Flash once again. He knows that he's got Aura to zone A out of that spot. And so he can kind of keep him trapped there. Oh, he's also got the plants, the prickly barrier or snare, as some of you may know it. And that will just continue to spawn anything that comes into contact with the plant, which has a little AoE that you can't see right now. So it hits, it just spawns an additional plant for the next several turns and does 25 damage to one target. And it just kind of pressures A with some chip damage turn by turn. He's going to lose a Pixie a turn or lose 25 tick off of his flight prot. And this just gives Deee a nice advantage to be able to root him out of this spot where A could potentially build a lot of his minions. Dee's going to say, nope, I've got Aura, I've got Snare. I'm going to drive you out of that spot. You're going to have to teleport away from all your minions that you took all those turns to try to, develop. Get your DK out, get your Pixies out, get your Pegasus out. Doesn't matter if you have all those out and they're trapped down on the bottom right of the map and you got to teleport away. And that's what Dee's thinking. I know because we have a telepathic connection. And so it is worth noting too, one way to counter these snares is to flash. So the first turn is best to flash because you can sink the snare and then it does not spawn additional ones. So that's a nice little trick. And here Deee is actually able to steal the Dark Knight, but this is a bit tricky because he doesn't have a way to really elevator the Dark Knight, but he is able to. He's able to charge kind of at an angle there and do quite a bit of damage. I remember he was DMing me and he was like, oh man, that was ass. That was terrible. But really, I mean, what? He had like 80 prot, so that did a decent amount, over 100. And so I think it's worth it. And he would have had to, have another minion to put the DK on. If he actually puts the DK on himself and then charges upward, the DK will still be doing part of its charge as it comes down onto Deee, doing probably 100 plus to him and just losing the game immediately. So he can't use himself to elevator that and charge on top of himself. But because of this pressure and that charge, he's able to gain the tempo to actually sink A out of his shock shield, which he had used fairly recently. And I mean, we might have to close the book on this one, everyone. 18 HP comeback, nearly 200 health comeback, just due to one sink and ill-advised tele to the left side of the map to gain, giving Deee map control, knowing that he doesn't have an aerial. So yeah, knowing that A doesn't have an aerial, probably best to try to teleport up top, even though he is down a couple, tempo or however many minions Deee had when he was at 18 health. I don't think he was too developed, but he did have an advantage there. Yeah, and just teleporting up top instead of the side, it just pressures Deee a bit. Very small margin for error when you've got 18 health. Pretty much anything, you can breathe on the guy and he's going to die. So yeah, that's probably what I would say to A. Although I don't know if A will ever watch this video. A, if you're here, drop a comment. Let me know if you're a loyal viewer. So yeah, Deee is just going to apply the pressure, and he is going to suffocate A with the Pegasus. I was thinking here potentially extending a spear through this little portion of land could be possible. So he just, goes right there and then throws it, extend, and it bypasses some of the land. The spear actually would start its path somewhere around here if you extend. But Deee didn't want to take that risk. Obviously, it wouldn't really matter too much. I mean, even if like the aura would deflight Deee, he would be able to sink him. He still has an undead peg on the side that would apply pressure. He would take damage from the auras again. He's probably just dead either way. But yeah, we're seeing active suffocation. We got to get this off the screen. This can't be legal. But Deee is going to be able to close out this match and goes on for a few more turns. And we'll see A eventually ends up at the top of the map, and we get a little undead Pegasus triad that ends up ticking him to his death. And we'll just see that here in action. Look at that. Pretty funny. And yeah, Deee just skates back to the top of the map. He's just got to make sure he's not sinkable and that A can't escape. That does a shit ton of damage. I'm not going to bother doing math. And Deee is able to clinch victory here. Anyway, hope y'all enjoyed this 60G come back 18 from 18 to the win. Unfortunate sequence of moves following that sink from A. Don't fault him for allowing that arc bomb sink. That's not something that you typically look for in a match, but yeah, good lesson to be aware of the power of being able to be sunk out of flight when you've got low prop. So hope y'all enjoyed. If you did, please drop a like and subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Have a great day. Peace.